lights are still on.
Is it a video? If you could just try it and see what happens and what it looks like.
Yeah, I think.
The lights can just stay on.
Yeah,
because
I
of
think
the-
they'll probably do
with
that.
the flash drive in, they don't turn off.
Yeah, I think it'll show up better on the video than it does live.
Okay.
I think we had this problem last year with things not seeming like they're showing up.
Okay.
Because the lights. Just do the best you can.
Just do, alright, with this? Okay.
Yeah, we'll make it work. I'm not gonna grade you down from the limitations of the studio.
Alright. Hello, I'm Ben Rolls, and this is a public service announcement. An animal is on the loose. A monster so terrifying it's been featured on all the major news networks, and in the Harry Potter series. This creature is so ugly, well, I think you need to see the footage to understand. I think this was the wrong name. I'm sorry. Okay. So the creature in question is the troll, not the hairy, fat beast of lore. Well, maybe close. But internet tough guys. The person who wears an opposing school's shirt for no other reason than to piss people off. The person who goes on a feminist web forum and posts sexist phrases. We can all identify examples of trolling, but how exactly do you define it? We expect to go on a website, YouTube for example, see comments and get a reaction like this. But isn't that the same thing as bullying? In real life, bullies seek a reaction. How is it different? Is it just on the internet, or is it the same thing? Abusive behavior is abusive behavior if it's online. But to see how trolling diverges from bullying, we need to take a brief look at the history, the evolution of trolls. The term troll came about in the 70s, used to describe United States military tactics in Vietnam, where the United States Navy would troll for MiGs, as in try to provoke Russian aircraft. So it's always been about kind of getting this response, right? And it's been the same when it transferred to the internet. In the 90s, the term troll came to be used to describe people who posted outrageous comments on bulletin board systems or news groups, which are essentially prehistoric online forums. But much of the characteristics of trolling that we know today stem from what many call the cesspool of the internet, 4chan. If you've been on 4chan, bless your soul. If you haven't, it's sort of an online image board where users tend to post anonymously and comment anonymously. And as you can imagine, that leads to some pretty interesting content and subculture. Some of the less provocative content that stems from 4chan is memes, which are essentially viral images or videos that people change text and meaning to mimic certain situations and mock people for fun. And this stemmed from 4chan culture to a broader internet culture. For example, the Rickroll, which you all experienced at the beginning, a bait and switch in which you expect to see one thing from a link, but see instead a video of Rick Astley in the 80s singing his song, Never Gonna Give You Up. Another popular example from 4chan is LOL cats, which are the many pictures of cats on the internet accompanied by text to kind of put them in funny situations that you would not expect. So as a result of this kind of anonymity and shared memes on 4chan, trolls developed this sort of subculture, which it kind of distinguishes it from bullying because people aspire to be trolls to an extent. We kind of give them a grudging respect, like it's cool to be a troll, and there's a term for it. Bullies don't go around calling themselves bullies, but trolls will gladly call themselves trolls. And I think that a big reason for that is anonymity. Without anonymity, you couldn't meet around with other bullies and just have fun. People would judge you for it. But you have this mask to hide behind. In this case, a Guy Fawkes mask and the group Anonymous, which if you haven't heard of them are essentially hacktivists and social activists on the internet that attack things such as Scientology, go on weird raids of game sites and just mess with people, all from 4chan. So in spite of these differences between bullying and trolling, we kind of react to them the same way. You might have heard the phrase, don't feed the trolls. Essentially what you're supposed to do if you see trolling going on the internet is ignore it, just not respond. And that's kind of similar to bullying. You're supposed to just ignore him, walk away. But talking about it in that language kind of puts the blame on the person receiving the trolling. It's almost related to, rape talks where they were asking for it, and that's just not the case. Another problem with trolling is that because this term is so widespread, we tend to just attach it to people that we disagree with. It's like in politics when you just throw the term racist or socialist at someone just because they disagree. It kind of gets rid of the ability for rhetoric and debate where it otherwise might be. And masks a bunch of other more important issues such as racism, homophobia, misogyny. The reasons why someone would bully or troll someone. When you just talk about this catch-all phrase that groups people together, it makes you forget about the real reasons for why it's there, and that's important not to do. Catchphrase. Cool story, troll. So what's the big deal with all of this? We need to think about problems in terms that aren't just a catch-all phrase. You can't describe all abusive behavior on the internet as trolling, just like you can't describe all abusive behavior in real life as bullying. It's important to think deeper about the questions, and calling it trolling when it might be something else like sexism or racism is not going to help us solve the problems. So, Ermagerd, thanks.